All right, we live, sir.
All right. Shalom. Let's clap it up. Clap it up. All right. All right. All right. I trust everybody had a nice Thanksgiving, huh?
Good. Nice.
Everybody ate all that turkey, celebrated. Everybody was out there fighting, shooting, killing. You understand? In this unholy holiday.
Right.
You understand? Where the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969, and what is that truth? That truth is the so-called Black Hispanics and Natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. Our oppressors, the devil that the Bible speaks of. Hey, look, check this out. The first scripture I want to grab Revelation chapter, what's that? 18. I mean 12 and 12, I'm sorry.
12 and 12, sir.
12 and 12.
Come on.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Oh.
Your thumb. Grab that.
You said 12 and 12, sir, right?
Come, hold that for me for a second. Don't go anywhere. I know everybody had an unholy holiday, you know, and that's not a holiday we celebrate. You understand? We don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the celebration of the destruction of our brothers and Native Indians. You understand? We don't celebrate the destruction of our family members.
Right.
You understand? Our oppressor created that holiday in reverence to him murdering our brethren. You understand?
Come on.
And that's the reason why we don't celebrate that. But there's going to come a time where we're going to celebrate the destruction of our enemies.
That's right.
You understand? We're going to celebrate the destruction of the man who's been destroying everybody else on the face of this earth. You understand? That's going to be a holiday to remember. You understand? You got that?
Come.
Go ahead, read that for me.
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 12 and verse 12.
Wait a minute. No, wrong one. My bad. I'm sorry. Hold on that. Where I know I messed up. I judged straight. Let me get it. Revelations 18 and 4. My bad. I'm sorry.
Slide. Gotcha.
Revelations 18 and 4.
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people."
Say that again.
Come out of her, my people.
Come out of her, my people. You understand? A lot of our brothers and sisters just celebrated that holiday, Thanksgiving, right?
Right.
The Most High tells us to come out of her, my people. Come out of what? Come out of celebrating these holidays. You understand? Come out of celebrating the destruction of our people. Thanksgiving was the destruction of the Native American Indians. A lot of our brothers and sisters don't understand that. You understand?
Right.
That's just like us celebrating the 4th of July, Independence Day. Where were we at on Independence Day?
Slave.
We were still as slaves. You understand? So we are celebrating, when we celebrate Independence Day, we celebrating the destruction or the slavery of ourselves. And so much so, we celebrating on Thanksgiving, we celebrating the destruction of our brothers and Native Indians. You understand?
Okay.
And this oppressor came over here and destroyed, almost annihilated all the Native Indian tribes. They are destroyed to this day. You understand? And now he has them in concentration camps. You understand? They call them reservations, but we all know that they're concentration camps. Our brothers can't do anything that they want on that reservation. You understand? They have to get permission. You understand? To do anything on a land that belongs to them. You understand?
Right.
So we have to, the scripture says what? Say that again.
Come out of her, my people.
Come out of her. Come out of the beliefs. Come out of the love of America. Come out of her, my people. Read on.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
Say that again.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
Celebrating Thanksgiving, you are partakers of her sin. You are partaking in the destruction of the Native American Indians. The Native American Indians celebrate every year the destruction of them. They know what Thanksgiving means. They understand. You understand? They call it a day of mourning.
Right.
They don't celebrate Thanksgiving. They understand that this is the destruction, or this is the celebration of the destruction of them. That's how we should feel when Independence Day comes. That's how we should feel.
Right.
You understand? But we so caught up in America that we celebrate the destruction of ourselves. Just like we celebrate the destruction of the Native American Indians. You understand? It says that ye be not partakers of her sin. Every time we celebrate one of these unholy holidays with America, we partake in the sins of America. You understand? Every time we celebrate LGBTQ month, we partake in the sins of America.
Right.
When you sin against the Most High, you have to pay for those sins. There has never been a sin that has never been paid for, or that will never be paid for. You understand? Read on.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
Say that again.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
Hey, listen, when you partake in the sins of America, you will receive of her plagues. You understand? That's the reason why we are #1 in heart disease, because we partake in the sins of America. You understand? That's why we are #1 in HIV, because we partake in her sins. We partake in her sins. Every time we participate in America's holidays and traditions, we partake in her sins. And this is why we are destroyed as a people the way we are destroyed. You understand? It says, and that ye receive not of her plagues. We have received of all of America's plagues. You understand? We receive every negative thing that there is to receive. You understand?
Hey, you see the echo on the live stream.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. What did he say? Can you hear?
You said, go ahead.
Okay, 1 2 1.
You just stay on script.
You understand? It says we should not partake in her sins. You understand? I got an article that I want to read, that I want to delve into. You understand? We're about to get into it. Let me get here. We Tawab? Okay. All right. We're going to get into one of these articles that we got right here. In these articles, we gotta be mindful of what we read from our oppressor. Our oppressor always wants to give us a glory story. You understand?
Right.
But we know that our oppressor has raped, robbed, and murdered his way to the top in these Americas. You understand? Hey,
It's wild, sorry. You gonna send it to me?
I'm gonna try to send it to you.
Come.
Try to send it to you. Here we go. I need this. But we all know that America has raped, robbed, and pillaged its way to the top here in America. You understand?
Right.
And we have to understand that we have to remove ourselves from America. You understand? You got that?
Come.
All right. We have to understand that we have to remove ourselves from America. America has no means of making life better for us here. You understand? And this topic right here, we're gonna read on the Native Americans and how they were destroyed here in the Americas once the Pilgrims, or what do they call them, the conquistador, or the colonizer,
The
settlers,
settlers.
the Pilgrims. They always made us think when we were in elementary school that the Pilgrims was a nice, peaceable people.
Right.
You understand? They always made us think that Thanksgiving was a day of remembrance that the Indians, the natives, helped the Pilgrims to survive that first winter. We were always made to think that. You understand? But we found out otherwise when we got older. You understand? You got that article?
Come on,
Let's
sir.
read.
This is an article from the History Channel. When Native Americans were slaughtered in the name of civilization. By the close of the Indian Wars in the late 19th century, fewer than 238,000 indigenous people remained of the estimated 5 million plus living in North America before European contact. Next paragraph. Keep going.
Yeah, keep
Oh,
going.
Salagi. On a cool May day in 1758, a 10-year-old girl with red hair and freckles was caring for her neighbor's children in rural western Pennsylvania. In a few moments, Mary Campbell's life changed forever when Delaware's Indians kidnapped her and absorbed her into their community for the next 6 years. She was among the first of some 200 known cases of white captives, many of whom became pawns in ongoing power struggles that included European powers, American colonists, and indigenous peoples straining to maintain their population, their land, and way of life. While Mary was ultimately returned to her white family, and some evidence points to her having lived happily with her adopted Indian tribe, stories such as hers became a cautionary tale among white settlers, stoking fear of savage Indians and creating a paranoia that escalated into all-out Indian hating. From the time Europeans arrived on America's shores, the frontier, the edge territory between white man civilization and the untamed natural world became a shared space of vast, clashing differences that led the U.S. government to authorize over 1,500 wars, attacks, and raids on Indians.
Listen, check this out. Stop right there. Listen, they come over and they pillage, they rape, rob, and murder. Nothing led to them to start over 1,500 wars. That was already in their mind.
Right.
That's always on their heart. You understand? Grab Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10 for me in the Apocrypha. You understand? War is always in their heart. You understand? This is something that they do anywhere that they go. You understand? Look at Vietnam. Look how Vietnam got tore apart by America.
Right.
You understand? Look how North and South Korea. Korea used to be one nation. Look at North and South Korea. That's what happens when Europeans set foot on any land that does not belong to them.
Right.
You understand? Look at what's going on now. Look at this. Look at these things that's happening over there in the Middle East.
Right.
You understand? With Israel sitting over there, there are Europeans over there destroying them, having Arabs. Now we don't side with the Arabs, but they got Arabs going against Arabs.
Right.
You understand? This is what happens when our oppressor sets his foot on any land. There's nothing to make a European go into war. War is always in them.
Right.
That's what they do. The Bible tells us they have been blessed with the sword. They have been blessed with war. This is just in their DNA to do what they're doing. You understand? You got that, brother? Oh, shit.
No, what is it, sir? You said Ecclesiastes.
12 and 10.
Gotcha. It's the book of Ecclesiastes in Apocrypha 12, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
Say that again.
Never trust thine enemy.
Hey, listen, that's the problem that we have over here in America now. We trust our enemy. The reason why we trust our enemy because a lot of us don't understand who our enemy is.
Right.
You understand? We have to understand who the enemy is. The Bible tells us, never trust thine enemy. Who is our enemy?
If I could, sir, all these other nations.
All the other nations, but namely our oppressor.
Right.
The very one who had us in slavery. The very one who has us in slavery. A lot of us don't believe we're enslaved right now. You understand? But anytime you have to go to any man for clothing, anytime that you have to go to any man for food, anytime that you have to go to any man for work, anytime that you have to go to any man for housing, you are a slave. If you have to go outside of your nation to another nation for anything to survive, you are a slave. That's what it is. A lot of our brothers and sisters don't understand that we are enslaved today. If you don't believe you're enslaved today, stop paying your bills. See what happens. See where you be living in. You understand? Break any of these laws. See what happens. See who comes to arrest you. See who puts their knee on your neck. You understand? Say anything against anybody that is not of your nation and see the backlash come. You understand? We have $1 million slaves today. You ever heard of that? $1 million slave?
Car.
$1 million slave ain't nothing but a slave and a slave. That's it. You understand?
Car.
He thinks he's a millionaire, but he can be demillionairized at any time. That's a word I just made up. Like that, you see that? That's a word I just made up. I might have to copyright that, you know. But at any time, we saw it happen to Kanye West. We saw it happen to Nick Cannon. You understand? Who else was that?
Diddy.
Who?
Diddy.
Nah, not him. It was somebody else. It was Kanye West. What's his name? No. Yeah. Kyrie Irving. There you go, sis. Thank you. Kyrie Irving. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it. Anytime anybody of a high stature that is in our nation speaks up for our nation, they are demillionairized. Demillionairized. Yeah, I got that. I'm going to say, you got to come to me to say it properly. It's my word, okay? But anytime any of our people speak up for us, they get what do they call it? They get ostracized. And then they get brought down low or lower because they already low. You understand? If you're a native or, Negro native or Hispanic descent. You understand?
Right.
We already low.
It's like they go from being house niggas to put back in the field.
Put back in the field. There you go. You understand? Or you ever had a house nigga be in the house so long and then they say something wrong and you drag them to the door and ask them, do you want to be out there? Oh, no, sir. No, sir. Yeah, that's what happened. You understand what I'm saying? All you got to do is show them outside. No, it's okay. No, sir, boss. No, sir, boss. I'm okay, boss. You understand? They just show them that. You understand? But there's a lot of us out here. It's a lot of us fields. You understand? Read on.
It's like, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
It says, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You understand? For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You understand? Eventually, his true countenance is going to show through. His true nature. You understand? His real intentions are going to show through. For like as iron rusteth, just like we was talking about a few weeks ago. I believe you said something about it a few weeks ago. You know, if you ever work with any kind of metals, steel or iron or something like that, if you shave it, which is what I do on my job, you understand, being a machinist. When you shave that iron down, it's nice and shiny and pristine. But that's not the true properties of it.
Right.
But if you take it off of that machine and you let it sit, even sometimes if you let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes, you'll start seeing the little rust spots start to come up on it because that's the true properties of iron.
Right.
You understand? And what you have to do is you have to cover it with oil when you bring it off so that rust doesn't show through. You understand? And that's just like our oppressor. Our oppressor is covered with that oil. But if you wipe that oil away, eventually the true properties of our oppressor will show through.
Right.
Eventually those rust spots will start to come up. Eventually that evil will begin to show through. And that's what a lot of us don't recognize. A lot of us have been enslaved so long that we don't think we slaves. We don't recognize that we slaves. And we think the things that the oppressor does is normal, which is not normal. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
These are the true properties of our oppressor. The first thing that happens when we see one of our brothers and sisters murdered, what's the first thing that we say?
What they do wrong?
What they do wrong. He must have did something. Well, man, he shouldn't have been down there. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I've seen that happen. You understand? At work, what happened? He must have brought it on himself. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's the way we think. That's the way we think. You understand? That's the true. What's the scripture in the Bible that says, are we a homegrown slave?
Right.
Are we homegrown slave? No, a homegrown slave is a slave that has been a slave so long they don't realize that they're slaves.
Right.
Brothers and sisters be out on these corners doing what they do because they think this is how life is supposed to be. Those tents encampments that we see downtown, those brothers and sisters think that's it to life.
Right.
This is how life is. Well, I just made a bad decision, not understanding that our oppressor has created a condition for a certain percentage of us to be in that position. He has another certain percentage of us that live paycheck to paycheck, and a very minute percentage that become millionaires. You understand? Under his thumb. Because our oppressor has control over all of us. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. We have to understand the intentions of our oppressor. First, we got to understand who our oppressor is. And this is what happened to our Native American brothers and sisters. They didn't understand who the true enemy was. Listen, the Most High put a mark on them so that they could be noticed from afar. That is the mark of the beast.
Right.
One of the marks of the beast. You understand what I'm saying? That they could be noticed. Their skin, it gives them away. You understand what I'm saying? The mark of the beast is also the actions, the thought process. When it says he will be marked in his forehead, you understand what I'm saying? His thoughts. You understand? His true intentions are in his head.
Right.
In his hand. It's his action. It's what he does. It's how he murders us in the street. It's how they rob us of everything. Look at the Native American Indians. They owned all of this land. And now they're living on reservations in squalor. How is that? Because we don't recognize our enemy. The Native Americans did not recognize their enemy. You got that article still?
Come on, sir.
Let's jump back to that article.
Come on. Okay.
Let's go down to that where it says the reasons for this.
Come on. The reasons for the reasons for this racial genocide where multi-layered settlers, most of whom had been barred from inheriting property in Europe.
Stop. Hear that, right? Listen to it. Listen to the people who were sent here. Take that from the top again. Listen to the people who were sent here. Read that again.
The reasons for the racial genocides were multi-layered. Settlers, most of whom had been barred from inheriting property in Europe.
Listen, a lot of these people were barred from inheriting property in Europe. These were the worst of the worst in Europe.
Right.
Europe is a terrible place. But this was the worst of the worst being sent here. This land was meant to be a penal colony. You understand what I'm saying? This is where they sent all their rapists, their robbers, and their murderers. Just like Australia. Australia was created to be a penal colony. That's where they sent the worst of the worst. And when those people got over there in Australia, they killed all of the original indigenous people of Australia. What were they called? What were the people of Australia called? The original people of Australia. Can't remember them. Oh, it was anyway, they killed all of the people and took their name and became the Australians. You understand?
Come.
And now every time you say Australian, we think about Crocodile Dundee. You understand?
Right.
I want to put a few on the bar. You understand what I'm saying?
Come.
When that was not those people. Go ahead. You got that?
Come.
Go ahead.
Arrived on America's shores hungry for Indian land.
See, you hear that? Hungry for Indian land. They didn't come here in search of a new beginning or a friendship with the Native Americans. They came here hungry for Indian land. They knew exactly why they were coming here. They were being sent here as a penal colony, but not only that, they were coming here to take, to rape, to rob, and to murder. Just what they do. Go ahead.
And the abundant natural resources that came with it.
Listen, anytime America goes anywhere, that's what they do. America goes to any country, anytime they put themselves into any war in between any people, it's because there is something to gain for America. You understand? That war in that Afghan war that lasted 20 years, they were over there for the poppy. That was it. To rape, to rob, and to murder. And that's what they did. Once the poppy dried up, this war is over.
Right.
A 20-year war. They didn't care whether they won the war or not. They got what they came over here for. And if you didn't know, think about this, right? Before that Afghan war in 2000, the poppy that came out of Afghan was about, I believe it was 20 to 25%. And it was spread to about maybe 35% of the world. The poppy came out of there. But after that Afghan war started, 90% of the poppy came out of Afghan. 90% of the poppy came out of Afghan, and they supplied most of the world. Who was getting the money from that? America. America controlled Afghanistan. That's why those people was jumping on that plane and falling off of that plane trying to get up out of there, because they knew once America left, all hell was going to break loose on the people who sold their people out for America.
Right.
And America could care less. And this is what America does. And look, I mean, think about it, right? Look at what America does to their own people over here. Our brothers and sisters that think they're going to get ahead with America, being with America. Be not partakers of her sin, or you're going to suffer the plagues. That's what happens to all of these politicians, all of these black politicians that think they're going to get ahead. This is what happens to them. They get stuck. They get stuck with the bill. You understand? America has no love for anybody but America. You know what I'm saying? And they barely have enough love for that. You understand? Go ahead, finish reading that.
Indians' conclusion with the British during the American Revolution and the War of 1812 exacerbated American hostility and suspicion toward them. Even more fundamentally, indigenous people were just too different. Their skin was dark, their language was foreign, and their worldviews and spiritual beliefs were beyond most white men's comprehension.
See, look, anything to go to war. You different. You understand? They want what they want. You understand? America comes for war. Anytime America steps on anybody's shore, they tried to do that in Cuba. You understand? They tried to go over and take over Cuba. That didn't happen. You read that thing called, y'all ever heard of the Bay of Pigs?
La.
That's when Fidel Castro was running Cuba, and that's when Kennedy tried to get them to go over there and get Cuba to become a democracy. Democracy ain't nothing but communism anyway, wrapped up in a package with a big blue bow or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it, because anytime you say or you do anything that goes against America, they do the same thing that Russia does to you. What's the difference? At least you know Putin is running that. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody knows who's running America.
Right.
You understand? We know our oppressors at the top of the pyramid, though.
Right.
You know? Go ahead.
Con. Two settlers fearful that a loved one might become the next Murray Campbell, all his stroked racial hatred and paranoia, making it easy to paint indigenous peoples as pagan savages who must be killed in the name of civilization and Christianity.
You understand? The name of civilization and Christianity. The heck out of here. Listen, we have to understand who our enemy is. Thanksgiving is the celebration of the destruction of our brothers and Native American Indians. You understand?
Con.
We gotta understand who the enemy is. Drop down to that next article. You see that right there.
The Gadsden Hutton.
Yep.
The Gadsden Hutton massacre. And 17.
Matter of fact, stop that.
It's like,
Stop that. Hold that. I got one better. Get ready to send it to you.
Con.
Because we have to understand how diabolical our oppressor is. You understand? And murder is murder.
Right.
You understand? You got that?
Con.
Hit that for me.
I got it, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
This is from the Smithsonian Magazine. All right. History. Was the 1623 poisoning of 200 Native Americans one of the continent's first war crimes?
Think about this. This is 1623. That wasn't a war crime in 1623. They've been doing war crimes a long time before that.
Right.
And if you're talking about just in the Americas alone, remember in 1492, they took 1,100 Taino Indians. That's when Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue, 1492. You understand what I'm saying? 1,400 Taino Indians got them back over there into, into Rome. I think only 300 of them survived. And they said that's good business. Good business is having anything for free. They came over there looking for gold, riches, and any kind of resources they could get their hands on. And they also got those Native American Indians. They knew exactly what they was coming over there for.
Right.
You understand? But go ahead, read that.
Con. English colonists claimed they wanted to make peace with the Powhatans, then offered them tainted wine. It's like Powhatans. Then offered them tainted wine.
Offered them tainted wine. You understand? We got to be mindful of what we accept from our oppressor. You understand? Whether it be money, you understand? Because they always expect something back. or if they giving you something, they gonna take something in return. You understand?
Okay.
Go ahead.
In 2008, officials erected a historical marker in West Point, a small helmet in Virginia's King Williams County, set at an intersection about 20 miles north of Williamsburg. The plaque is titled "Indians Poisoned at Peace Meeting." It commemorates a little-known act of colonial duplicity, a mass poisoning carried out by the English in 1623 as part of an attempted assassination of the Pumakian
leader.
Forget about it. Apakano.
You understand? Listen, this is the Pumunki peace talks. This is when they were supposed to get together and make a peace treaty. You understand? They were supposed to sit down and eat, have wine, and all of that little type of stuff. We know our oppressor is known for this. Our oppressor is known for poisoning people.
Right.
You understand? Our oppressor is known for diabolically killing. Excuse me. What is that?
Unaliving.
You understand? Think about this, right? And that's another thing. I can't stand. This is so disgusting. You can't even say what the truth is.
Right.
You understand? You can't even say what the truth is. They whitewashing everything. You can't say this, you can't say that. You understand? Trying to cover up all of this. Listen, a lot of this stuff used to be easy to find. You understand? It's becoming difficult and difficult every day. A lot of this history. Go ahead.
Where you said that plaque was?
It is.
It's in Williamsburg.
Yeah, a small helmet in Virginia's Kings Williams County.
A small hamlet.
Or hamlet. So like it's in a
King Williams County. Set in an intersection about 20 miles north of Williamsburg. Now, a lot of this information, it's a lot of information that's coming out now that's being wiped off of the internet. Listen, there's something called the doctrine of exclusion. I always bring this up before I came into the truth. The doctrine of exclusion, you can pull it up anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? But every day it becomes more difficult and more difficult to find it because they're whitewashing the internet. Doctrine of exclusion is a law that was created in, if I'm not mistaken, doctrine of exclusion was created in 1638. Maryland Doctrine of Exclusion. And it clearly states that no slave or descendant of a slave or black person shall enjoy the fruits of white society. That was a law. You could not own anything. You could not own any property. You could not own a business. You could not enjoy the fruits of white society. You could not prosper like the oppressor. That was something you could easily pull up. You understand? Just punch it in. It's getting more difficult and difficult because they're whitewashing the internet. A lot of this stuff we have to verbally relay or, give back and forth to our people so that our people won't forget. These are things that we can't allow to slip through the cracks, just like they trying to whitewash what? Slavery. What are they calling it?
Unpaid workers.
They calling it the transatlantic migration. What is a migrant? A person that picks up and leaves from one place to go to another place to make a better life for themselves. That's a migrant, right? We were not migrants. We did not pick up and leave, but they're whitewashing history again right before our very eyes. You understand? They're whitewashing history right before our very eyes. We're in the we write in the pages of history right now of what they're doing.
Right.
They don't want to teach critical race theory in school. Why not? Because it tells American real history. And if they tell America's real history, everybody will know how diabolical America is. I mean, look at America's laws. When you go into the court system, whoever has the most money wins.
Right.
That's American law. If you don't have any money, you lose automatically. You ever went into court? We was talking about this the other day. You ever went into court, and when you get there, you show up to court, your attorney come up to you and say, "Look, I've been talking to the judge, and I've been talking to the, what's the name? We come up with a plan, and you can get this. All you have to do is sign right here." You understand what I'm saying? If you got money, you make the shots. If they know you don't have money, they're gonna make the shots before you get there. This is American law. America is about capitalism. And they're gonna capitalize off of each one of us. Whether you be black, Hispanic, or Native, they're gonna capitalize off of us.
Right.
You understand? But we have to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments and get some kind of understanding of who our enemy is. This is the reason why we be destroyed like we are. Go ahead, finish reading that.
Come. Why place a marker of tragedy, asked Pumunky Chief William P. Miles at the unveiling ceremony. By telling the past, he added, it leads to our future. Not too many knew of this poisoning. This will help tell the story of the good and bad neighbors.
Listen, check this out. It was never any good neighbors.
Right.
You understand? They only had themselves. They were the only good. The neighbors that came among them were bad. You understand? They were the enemy. But just like I was saying before, more times than many, we don't recognize our enemy. We let our enemy creep right in and destroy us and walk away. Think about this. How many times have we seen brothers and sisters murdered on TV?
Right.
Murdered on camera, murdered right before our eyes. And then we stand up and say, well, I forgive them. I forgive them. I still love you. We're gonna show love. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We're the only nation of people to do that. That is a slave's mentality. Think about this, right? You see the Palestinians saying that today?
La.
All those people being murdered. Did we see that? What did we see them doing? They fighting. You understand what I'm saying? Even in the land that's being destroyed, they fight. Even over here, they fight. Fighting so much so they trying to attack us.
Right.
They're innocent. You understand? They ain't really got the heart to attack the people who really murdering them over here. They attack the next thing they think is the weakest. You understand?
Right.
We ain't Christians up in here.
Right.
We ain't gonna sit and be attacked. You understand? They know who to attack. You understand?
Come.
Go ahead.
It's like May 22 marks the 400th anniversary of the unprecedented moment when English soldiers gave poisoned wine to 200. Say that word again, sir. Salai. Powhatans.
Listen, check this out. Powhatans were the Pumunky tribe.
Come.
That was a tribe within the Powhatan tribe.
Come. Members of a confederacy of about 30 native groups. The historical record is unclear on how many of those were poisoned died. But even during a war that ravaged indigenous and colonial communities.
Listen, check this out. What no colonial communities ravaged?
Right.
You understand? It may have been some colonial people killed amongst this war that they started. You understand? But the people who were ravaged were the Native Americans.
Right.
You understand? Whether it be, think about it, right? If you have war with a people, and this is how diabolical our oppressor is. If you have war with a people and you are still able to speak and make a peace treaty talks with them and go into the peace treaty talks and poison them and kill over 200. You understand what I'm saying?
Come.
Ain't too many people attacking you behind that. because you already got it in your mind who you attacking.
Right.
America, listen. America has a mind for war. And before they attack anybody, they're going to understand that it's a possibility we could be attacked back. So let's attack, and we're going to attack everybody who we think will attack behind this attack. You understand?
Right.
America doesn't stand and allow people to attack back. This is why America is the head of the United Nations. You understand? Because everybody knows America is diabolical in what they do. I mean, look at it, right? You mean to tell me out of all of those nations in the United Nations, nobody knows what's happening to the so-called Black, Hispanic, and natives here in America? And nobody's standing up. They say we African, right?
Right.
Out of all of those, what's that, 52, 54 nations over in Africa, nobody knows what's happening to us over here?
That's because all those nations are confederate together.
There you go. All of those nations are confederate against us. You understand? Because all of those nations benefit off of us being enslaved. Think about it, right? How does America give Ukraine or give the Israelis $1.4 billion? How much they give them? When's about 1.4 billion? Still giving Ukraine 362 million or trillion or some astronomical number like that.
Right.
Think about it, right? Where are they getting the money from?
Us.
Taxes going up on us. Think about it. You still see all those rich people on TV laughing and joking about what's going on, right? They laughing about, how the country is going to hell, but they not living in hell.
Right.
We the ones living in hell. You understand? We the ones getting tacked out the wooder. We the ones not getting raises, but our rent going up. Utilities going up, right? Water bill going up, right? You ain't getting no raise, right?
Right.
Exactly. Where all that money coming from? That money coming from us. I wrote out a number, right? They owe us like, what's that? $440 trillion. And with a 35% tax, that would be 594 billion. 594 trillion. 35% tax. We got to tax them on that too. You know what I mean? And that's $10 million for 44 million so-called Black, Hispanics, and natives in America. Might be a little more than that. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
They owe us. You might as well give us the country. That's okay because we're going to have it eventually.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? We're going to have it eventually. Go ahead.
Okay. Slide. Members of a confederacy of about 30 native groups. The historical record is unclear on how many of them were poisoned and died, but even during a war that ravaged indigenous and colonial communities, the incident stood out because Europeans at the time believed no civilized nation should employ poison in war.
Listen, check this out. They said, they said no civilized. It says the incident stood out because Europeans at the time believed no civilized nation should employ poison in war. Nobody should be using poison in this war. If we're going to war, we just going to war. But you can't use this, right? What they told North Korea, y'all can't have nuclear weapons. But we got nuclear weapons, right? Or they have nuclear weapons. We ain't got nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They employ and the same tactics that they say you can't use, they use. All right, listen, we're going to fight. We can't use baseball. Well, you can't use baseball bats. We're going to use them, but you can't. You use them, it ain't fair. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And we go for it. All of these laws that they create, you can't have a weapon to protect you in your house. You understand? But they can come up to your house with weapons. You understand?
Right.
How is that? And we've been made to believe, oh, that's okay. Well, they are the authorities. You understand?
Right.
How many times have we seen police robbing people on the street, especially here in Baltimore? That's normal. That's normal. You understand?
Okay.
This is part of America. This is the American way. Listen, we just said that earlier, right? Come out of her, my people. Be not partakers in her sins.
Right.
You understand? When you become part of America, you partake in her sins. You understand?
Okay.
Go ahead.
An idea later embodied in the 20th century Geneva Conventions.
Go ahead.
Does the 1623 poisoning constitute a war crime?
Yes, it does constitute a war crime. Just like the Tuskegee experiment. That's a war crime.
Right.
You understand? That's a war crime against the blacks of America.
Right.
You understand? That's a war crime. But who has brought America up on charges? Who has brought America up on charges?
Nobody.
Nobody. You understand? Because who cares about the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives? Listen, they got babies in cages on the border. Listen, we just talked about it earlier. They got the indigenous people, the natives, in concentration camps. The very thing that they got the so-called Jewish man out of in 1948. America has Native Americans in concentration camps in conditions that they don't control. America controls the very conditions that these people are in. But who cares about them? They care about the Ukraine. You understand?
Right.
They care about the Israelis. You understand? They care about what's going on in all these other European nations, but they could care less about what happens to our people. They're living off of our people. You understand? Go ahead.
The answer to the question depends on one's understanding of the term. Modern discussions of war crimes began after the horror of World War I.
Think about this, right? These war crimes have been going on long before World War I. Aren't those war crimes when they had us in slavery?
Right.
Ain't that a war crime when you raping men? Isn't that a war crime when you breaking up families, tearing families apart? Ain't that what they call the war crime over there in Israel when they snatch those kids,
Right.
separating them from their families? Didn't the lady come on TV crying about how they're separating families? That's terrible. You understand what I'm saying? That's a war crime. Well, they've been doing it to us since we hit the shores of America. Nobody cries about our war crimes. Nobody cries about what happens to us. We have to take care of us. We have to come together. Zephaniah 2:1. We have to bring ourselves together. We have to take care of our people. You understand?
Okay.
We have to do what we have to do to get ready for Christ to return and destroy this nation. This nation is going to hell in a handbag.
That's right.
You understand? This nation shall be destroyed for all the hypocrisy, for all the lies, for all the rape, robbery, and murder. You understand? Go ahead, finish reading that.
Which contributed to the formation of the League of Nations and later the United Nations and the Geneva Conventions. But efforts to define legitimate rules of war and peace stretch back centuries. In 1625, for instance, the influential Dutch legal terrorist Hugo Gurist published a 3-volume meditation on warfare that asked, what is permissible in war and to what extent?
Listen, check this out. Anytime that's a beast right there. Anytime you gotta ask what's permissible in war. You understand? Anytime you have to ask, you have to write what's permissible. You know why you gotta write what's permissible? Because somebody and everybody goes above and beyond, overboard.
Right.
You understand? We know in war you do not rape. You understand? But this is what the oppressor does. You understand? We know you don't torture, but this is what the oppressor does. This is the reason why they have to write books and they have to make rules. You understand?
Right.
This is the reason why they have to do these things. You understand? You got that? Go ahead, Greg, read that for me.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
And listen,
Yeah.
this is what we have to do. We have to gather ourselves together. We have to come together because nobody is coming to our defense.
Right.
And the only person that's there for us is us. We have to gather ourselves together. Go ahead.
Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
And we have to understand that we are a nation of people that are not desired. Nobody desires the 12 tribes of Israel. Nobody desires the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives of America and abroad. You understand? Nobody desires us. If so, who is speaking up for us in the United Nations? Who is coming to our defense? And this is another thing that I always ask these black people who are always saying we Africans. Where are the African nations that are standing up for us?
Right.
What African nation stands up for us today? Who speaks up for us? Every time I turn around, I always see them. We need to help Africa. We need to help Africa. When Africa going to help us? When Africa going to stand up and say we need to help those black people in America that's being destroyed by the oppressor?
Right.
When we hear that, I never hear that. Africa is 2.5 times bigger than America. Where are the African nations who are out to save us? Well, we can't save Africa. Africa got to save herself.
Right.
And we're going to save our people. Before we can do anything for Africa, we got to think about us. And we ain't thinking about Africa after we think about us.
Right.
We ain't doing nothing for Africa. Africa ain't done nothing for us since. And they ain't done nothing for us before. We got to stop thinking about them. We got to think about us.
That's right.
You understand?
Go.
Go ahead.
Verse 2.
No.
Oh, you want to keep going, sir? Salaki. Today, war crimes are generally defined as violations of codified rules of warfare. Examples range from torture to taking hostages to killing combatants who have surrendered.
Listen, then that's a war crime. The man gives up. He gives up. That's it right there. You understand?
Right.
But they don't care. Listen, how many times? Think about it, right? Read that again.
Come,
That end part. Read it again.
come, sir. Examples range from torture to taking hostages to killing combatants who have surrendered.
Say that again. Killing who?
Combatants who have surrendered.
One more time.
Killing combatants who have surrendered.
Think about this. How many times have we seen brothers give up and the police shoot them anyway?
Right.
How many times have we seen police walk up to a car and shoot an unarmed civilian?
Right.
How many times have we seen a police have a man on the ground and all of a sudden his gun goes off and he kills him?
Right.
By that description right there, that's a war crime. Because that's one nation killing another nation.
Right.
Anytime a nation of people continually kill a specific people from another nation, that is a war crime. Where's our help?
Right.
Our help is right here in this Bible. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation, not desire. Listen, the Most High is letting us know that we are a nation of people that are not desired. When are we going to get that through our heads? When are we going to get some kind of understanding? You understand? That this book is just not a colorful book to make us happy at the end of the day in church. And then we listen to music and jump around and dance and cry and then throw all our money in the basket and then go home. This book is telling us, this is giving us a moral compass. This is giving us an understanding. This is a book full of laws, statutes, and commandments. This is not a book of religion.
Right.
This has nothing to do with religion. When are we going to get some understanding? When we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. We come back to listening to the priests and prophets on those corners on Saturday. That's when. You understand? Hey, that's air. That's cold.
Yo, that is cold air.
You know? Listen, give me 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 55. Second Esdras, chapter 6,
55, sir.
verse 55.
Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
Say that again.
Because thou madest the world for our sakes.
Listen, the Most High made this world for our sake. The Most High made this world for our sake. So why are we being ruled by another people? Say he made the world for our sake. Why are we being ruled by another people? We're being ruled by another people because we have been disobedient to the Father.
Right.
You understand? And just like any loving father, eventually, if you keep being disobedient, he is going to let you suffer the consequences. And right now, we're suffering the consequences. But right now, it's time for us to come up out of these consequences. We have paid. You understand? Read on.
Okay. It's like verse 56. As for the other people,
As for who?
as for the other people,
Read on.
which also come of Adam.
Hey, listen, all these other nations come from Adam. Listen, after the flood, who lived through the flood? Noah and his 3 sons and their wives, right?
Right.
Everybody comes from those other nations. As for the other people, read on.
Which also come of Adam.
Which also come from Adam. All the other nations come from Adam. Read on.
Thou hast said they are nothing.
Say that again.
Thou hast said they are nothing.
Listen, these other nations are nothing. These people that don't speak up for us in the United Nations, they are nothing. Our oppressor, he is nothing.
Right.
You understand? And we have to understand that. We are supposed to be ruling this earth. Everybody's supposed to come to us. They're supposed to look to us for guidance.
Right.
But we look to all the other nations for guidance. Everybody feeds off of us. And we look to everybody for help, for guidance. You understand? Read on.
Come. But be like unto spittle.
Say that again.
But be like unto spittle.
Hey, listen, these other nations be like unto spittle. What is that? Exactly. You understand? How much is that worth?
Right. Nothing.
Nothing. It says that right here in the Bible. These other nations are like unto spittle. These other nations are like unto nothing. Read on.
And has the liking the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
All of them together are like a drop that falleth from a vessel. You ever had a cold soda and you see that little drip of water that run down the side and boom, drip off? That's the other nation. What's inside of that bottle is us, the thing that's worth the most.
Right.
That little drip of water that comes down the side, that's the other nation. That's nothing. But what's inside is us. We have to understand we are the value of the earth. We are what makes this earth go.
Right.
We what makes the earth run. You understand? Everybody lives for us. But we turn and we live for everybody else. We have to start living for us. We have to start living for our people, not these other outside nations.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
Come. Verse 57. And now, O Lord, behold these heathens.
Say that again.
And now, O Lord, behold these heathens.
These heathens, these other nations, these people who are not of the 12 tribes of Israel. Read on.
Which have ever been reputed as nothing.
Say that again.
Which have ever been reputed as nothing.
Listen, they are spittle and they are nothing. They have been reputed as nothing. Read on.
And have begun to be lords over us.
And have begun to be lords over us. How does this happen? Come out of her, my people. Be not partakers of her sins, or you will face the consequences of your actions. I'm paraphrasing from the first scripture that we used earlier. You understand what I'm saying? You have to pay. It says, read that again.
Come. And now, O Lord, behold these heathens, which have ever been reputed as nothing.
Listen, Most High, you have said they are nothing. Read on.
Have begun to be lords over us.
Now they are lording over us. You gave us dominion of the earth, but now they are lording over us. They are ruling over us. They are the head and we are the tail. How is that? Read on.
And to devour us.
And to devour us. Listen, every nation is living off of us. Every nation makes a killing off of us. We just went into a store the other day and we just saw a single Asian with polish, nail polish, and all that, baby, all that stuff they had in that. Did you see all that stuff that man had in there? We were squeezing between boxes and they had all kinds of everything at cheap prices. Why? Because they buy so much in bulk that they can lower their prices to beat our people out and lowball us and put us out of business. They are devouring us.
Right.
They have taken over the soul food business. They are devouring us. They have taken over the fried chicken business. The Arabs own all the hip hop chickens, all the New York fried chicken, all the Kentucky fried chicken, or the Kennedy fried chicken, should I say, Kennedy fried chicken. They have lorded over us. They are devouring us. You understand? I say this every week. How do East Indians own all the Dunkin' Donuts? How is that? How do all the Indians own all the liquor stores? How is that in our neighborhoods? How do they do that? They are devouring us. Listen, this is a plague.
Right.
Come out of her, my people. Be not partakers of her sin, or you'll suffer those plagues. These are the plagues. When we live amongst them, when we want to be amongst them, we will suffer the plagues with them. These are the plagues. Be not partakers of her sin. Read on.
Come. Verse 58. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn.
We are his firstborn. We are his choice. Listen, we the youngest nation, but we are his firstborn. Think about it, right? Who was Abraham's natural firstborn?
Isaac. It's like Abraham.
His natural firstborn.
Oh, Ishmael.
But that's not who God chose. He chose Isaac, right?
Right.
Just like us. We the youngest nation, right?
Okay.
We the youngest. We weren't here first, but he chose us. We are his firstborn. You understand? Read on.
Thy only begotten.
The only begotten.
And thy fervent lover.
Go ahead.
Are given into their hands.
We have been given into their hands because of disobedience. We become obedient. We come out of their hands and they will be delivered into our hands. There will be a time where they will be serving us. Yeah, they're going to be serving us. Exactly. That's hard to believe. When you've been a slave for so long, it's hard to believe that you will be the slave owner and not the slave.
Right.
You understand? It's hard to believe that you will be running a city and they will be listening on your every word. It's hard to believe when you've been a slave for so long. It's hard to believe when you are a homeborn slave, born into something so long and so much so that you don't even know you're a slave.
Right.
Think about the people who came over here. Think about our brothers and sisters that came over here as slaves and understood and knew that they were slaves. Think about the generations that were born into slavery that didn't realize that they were slaves, thinking that they were free men, but they are slaves. That's us today. We believe we're free, but we're really slaves. But because you were born into it, you don't realize that you are a slave. Because you don't see the shackles on your arms and your legs, but the shackles are in the mind. You understand?
Come.
This is how we destroy. Because we don't realize we have what?
Say it again, sir.
We have what?
Law.
That mark of the beast.
Or the mark slide.
What is the mark of the beast?
His philosophies.
It's philosophies. What we talk about, the Pledge of America.
Right. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance. When you pledge your allegiance to anybody, you take your allegiance away from your people and give it to the people you pledge to.
Right.
You pledge Beta Phi, Beta, Kappa Phi, Kappa, all of that. You're pledging your allegiance to a Greek fraternity and away from your people. And you pledge to America. You pledge your allegiance away from your people into America. Listen, think about it, right? If it's not true, every veteran that fought for America should have a home, a house, a job, and everything. They should never have want for anything.
Right.
How do you see so many veterans, so many homeless veterans? How do you see that? How is that? Because they have pledged to America. They have pledged their allegiance to America. And this is what happens when you pledge your allegiance to a nation who cares nothing about you. This is what happened to the Native American Indian. When you write or you sign or you shake hands with your enemy, this is what happens. They have pledged their allegiance to America, just like we do every day. When we celebrate Thanksgiving, when we celebrate Christmas, when we celebrate New Year's, when we celebrate Independence Day, we are pledging our allegiance to America. This is what destroyed the Native Americans. This is what destroyed the so-called Negroes in America. This is what destroying the Hispanics in America today. Think about it. Hispanics are running from a bad condition to a worse condition because they don't know and they don't understand that they'll be enslaved here. They are being enslaved. Think about it, right? We cry about every day, they're taking our jobs, they're taking our jobs. Let me ask somebody, who want to go pick fruit?
Lie.
Who want to go pick fruit? Who want to go can fruit? So who jobs got stolen?
Right.
And the jobs that we don't want. Who want to work at McDonald's for $7.50 an hour? These ain't jobs that they took from us. These are jobs that we don't want. that our oppressor has created a condition knowing that we won't work for that, but they will, coming from nothing. He created a condition in their country so that they would run here and work for little to nothing.
Right.
I see it every day at my job. I see it every day. And then they have us fighting against each other, brothers and sisters fighting against each other, saying they trying to take my job. No, it's not that. Because nobody can take a job. A job can only be given. That's what we don't look at. See, because we have pledged our allegiance so much so, we believe everything America says. You know, we'll fight each other for America. This is our America. You understand? I'm just a squirrel. You know?
Okay.
That's it. We gotta gather ourselves together and gather together a nation, not desire. Understand that this world is not our world. What the Bible tell us, this is not our rest, right?
Okay.
This is not our rest. We can't kick our shoes off and get comfortable. This is not our rest. This is not our home. Understand? This is not the conditions created for us. You understand?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Salakia. Verse 59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world?
Listen, if the world be made for our sake, why don't we inherit? Why don't we own an inheritance? Why don't we own an inheritance? Because we have given away our inheritance. What's that? Job 9 and 24? Give me Job 9 and 24. Go ahead.
The book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Listen, it says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. We have given our inheritance into the hand of our oppressor.
Right.
Being disobedient to the Most High. This is the reason why the earth is being run by the wicked. This is the reason why we have to go to the wicked for a job. This is the reason why we have to go to the wicked for food. This is the reason why we got to go to the wicked for clothing. This is the reason why we got to go to the wicked for housing. One of all things. You understand? That's the condition they placed us in, to be in want of all things. This is how you get a sexy red. You understand what I'm saying? This is how you get a what's the LGBTQ boy?
Salakia, I don't know.
The one,
Cowboy.
the cowboy.
Oh,
What's
Nas
his
X.
name?
Nas X.
Little Nas X. This is how you get them. You understand?
Okay.
This is the conditions that have been created that force our people into these things. This is how you get the drug dealer on the street. Conditions have been created. This is how you get the prostitute. Conditions have been created. You understand?
Okay.
The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. This is not a righteous rulership we live in under. And because it's not a righteous rulership, this is the reason why this world is crumbling as we speak. Read on.
Okay.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
What does that mean? He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
Would that be like doing a Renaissance with the painting of the repainting of all of our forefathers and making them into white images?
All the prophets. Yep. The prophets spreading that truth. You understand? He covered the faces of the judges thereof. You understand? He covering the faces understand?
Don't come.
Making them look like him. You understand? And then the true prophets of today, he's making us look like liars.
Right.
That's not what the Bible say. Where you see that in the Bible? And then when you show it to them in the Bible, what they say?
I don't mean that.
Well, that Bible don't mean nothing. You reading wrong. You understand what I'm saying? You explain it to them. Listen, we have been finagled as a people. We have been finagled as a people. We've been destroyed. Because you can read something to somebody and tell them and explain it and show it in several different places. That ain't the Bible. You ain't reading from the Bible. That Bible you reading from ain't the real Bible. You understand what I'm saying? You can show it to them in their Bible, but that Bible don't mean nothing. You know? And then the next thing you know, oh, somebody wrote that Bible. Man wrote that Bible. You just believed it 5 minutes ago. Right. Then when you show them the truth, somebody wrote that Bible. Oh, that Bible been doctored. You know, it been tampered with. You know what I'm saying? That's the number one outlet right there. That Bible been tampered with. Especially if you bust a Christian with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, it been tampered with. Everybody know the Bible been tampered with. You understand? Go ahead.
You want to finish that slide?
Covers the faces of the judges thereof.
Oh no, that was
if
true.
Not, where and who is he? Listen, if he didn't do if it wasn't done by him, who and where is he? The oppressor does everything on this earth wicked.
Right.
Native Americans found that out. You understand? Give me Psalms. This is going to be the last scripture. Give me Psalms 55.
All right.
I want to get the right one. Wait a minute. My eyes, man. I got to get glasses. You better not laugh. You better not. We're going to start at 20.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
And listen, this is explains the conditions of the native Indians today. It says he had put forth his hands as such that be at peace with him. Listen, our oppressor went to war with a nation of people who were at peace with him. He put forth his hands. He went to war with a peaceable people. We see our oppressor does this every day. Just like we said before, when you see him shooting unarmed black men on the street, when you see him shooting unarmed Hispanic brothers on the street, when you see him raping sisters in those concentration camps on those reservations. You know how many Native American sisters are missing today?
Right.
It's not even posted. It doesn't even come up on the news because they allow heathens, oppressors to go onto those reservations and do as they please. It's not even documented. These are people living under hellish conditions. See, we think we live in under hellish conditions. It's all the tribes.
Right.
We have just become comfortable in our conditions. So much so that things can happen to us at work and it can seem normal. We can get underhanded at work and it could seem normal.
Right.
We could get underpaid at work and it could seem normal. It's a hellish condition. This is a homegrown slave. When the things that would hurt us and send us into an uproar become normal. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
The things that as a kid, you're like, I never let that happen to me. When you become an adult, oh, what it is, what it is. You understand?
Right.
These are hellish conditions. We've just become used to being slaves. We've become used to being enslaved. So much so we're used to it. It's normal. We say that a lot too. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, that's just life, man. Man, that's just the way it is. We just gotta get over it. We hear that all the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't have to get over it. We can change our condition. How do we change our condition? We come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Get up under the wings of the Most High. Get up under His shadow. Come out from under the shadow of America. Come up out of the from under the shadow of Egypt. Come up from out of the shadow of Babylon. Get up under the shadow of the Most High. Get under this covering. You understand?
Come.
Go ahead.
Slide. He has broken his covenants.
Think about it, right? Said they had over 177 peace treaties with the Native American Indians. And matter of fact, they said on CNN a few months ago that America has broken every peace treaty that they had with the Native American Indians. They trying to remove the Native American Indians from that
Reservation.
northwest, upper mid North Dakota. It's a couple of other ones up there too. Just so they found out it was natural resources on that land. Now they trying to move them off the reservations that they got them in, so they can start fracking and digging and all of that, taking the resources off of that land. America is not to be trusted. You understand?
Come.
We can't trust this nation. Read on.
Verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
And that's what happened. We get so caught up in the words of America. I think I was telling you a couple weeks ago. Now I'll tell you, when we get in elementary school, we be singing, God bless. You know what I mean? And by the time you hit junior high school and high school, you be singing it like, yeah, you know what I mean? And you be getting everything into it. You understand? Dream team. Balling for America. You understand what I'm saying? To where you all about America. Nobody can beat America. We the best. I heard some brothers saying that the other day. America the best of everything. No, we are the best of everything. America had nothing to do with us. We got so much energy. We just burn it out that way. We make America great. America doesn't run on Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on the so-called 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead.
But war was in his heart.
The war is in his heart. War, that's all America thinks about is war. The Bible tells us that America's blessed with the sword. Esau is blessed with the sword. You understand? Meaning, he is diabolical at thinking how to destroy nations. He creates weaponry to destroy nations. He makes plans 20 or 30 years ahead to destroy a nation of people, which is what he did to us. That's why we have crack and all of these things in our community. That's why we have all of these different forms of marijuana in our community. That's why he now legalized marijuana so that he could profit off of our destruction.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
His words were softer than oil.
Listen, his words are softer than oil. Listen, that sounds real good. You know what? I think I'm going to do it. It sounds real good. Read on.
Yet were they drawn swords.
Listen, eventually that law legalizing marijuana, man, that sounds real good. As soon as you get into it, boy, you destroy it. Think about it. They got all of these shops all around the city now. You can go right in and buy something, and then as soon as you walk out the door, can be arrested for it. Think about it. We are destroyed as a people. It says his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Everything that America seems that they doing for us for our advantage is only a drawn sword. It's only a trap to destroy us. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
These are the things that America does to destroy us. Celebrating Thanksgiving is only celebrating the destruction of the Native Americans. We cannot celebrate these holidays. We cannot be partakers of her sins. You understand?
Okay.
That we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and the devil is the oppressor that the Bible speaks of. Hey, listen, pay your tithes and make sure you pay that, what's that, $200 Passover fee. That Passover fee is nothing compared to what we're going to get when we get there. You understand? With that, pass the class over to priest officer. Yeah. That's what it's supposed to be.
Security announcements. With ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves in the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8-10. Means 10th in Hebrew and pronounced by Isra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department. Got a priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like to give. Upcoming holy convocations on December 17th. We got Hanukkah. You understand? Get with your camp leaders, find out what you need to do or bring for the service. All right. Remind Akim and Akwathium to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you need to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. With that, give more courtesy to the teacher, Israel Mighty, Shabbat, Mighty, Barak, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Brakatha.
How about Shimmy? How about Shabbat? Thumb.
As Matah, Saw, turn face sisters. Give one courtesy to the sister, Israel Mighty Shabbat, Mighty, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Allah Thumb Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Matah, class dismissed.
Mm-hmm.